Hello, Taurus rising, and welcome to your astrology and tarot horoscope for the full moon in Aquarius. The moon is full on Monday, August 19th. If you're new to this channel, welcome. My name's Lisa Merrifield. I am with Trails Edge Astrology, and I like to help busy people make good, informed decisions by providing some grounded and practical advice on how to align with the cosmic energy. Of course, these are general readings. If you want a reading specific to you, I do offer those. And in the show notes, you can find my website and more information on that. I will also be offering a membership service. So if you like this style of reading, I will do one specific for your birth chart and email it to you every month. So keep watching my channel over time. As we get closer to November, I will talk more about how you might participate in that. And as always, please like, subscribe, comment, share this video if it is helpful and useful to you. I'm a small, my channel is small, and I'm trying to spread my message and help it grow. And those likes and subscribes, comments, and shares really help with all of that. So if you are so inclined, I greatly appreciate it. All right, let's talk about this full moon in Aquarius. So, every August we have a full moon in Aquarius. And for you, Taurus rising, um, the Aquarius, the Leo Aquarius axis, so let me back up. When the sun is in Leo every August, July and August, at some point we will have a full moon in Aquarius because Aquarius is opposite Leo. And that for you as a Taurus rising will always show up in the most public parts of your life and the most private parts of your life. And will really, kind of illuminate some of the foundation issues. Like a strong foundation lets you show up in the world. I sort of think of this axis as like the tree. Like there's the roots that you need down in the earth so that the leaves can grow up. And so it's on that kind of axis, the most public part of your life and the most private part of your life. So every year that happens. Every year there's some minor illumination around um, that energy. And yeah, so you may or may not notice it, depends on what else you've got going on in your chart. This year, I think you will notice it. You probably have been noticing it. Um, for a couple of reasons, this full moon is power packed. And the first of those reasons is that the full moon is square Uranus. Um, and Uranus has been super active this year. We had the Jupiter Uranus conjunction in April. We had the Mars Uranus conjunction in July. We've had Mercury and Venus squaring Uranus, and now this full moon is going to square Uranus. So lots of activity around this part of your life. And for you, this is particularly interesting. As a Taurus rising, Uranus is in your first house, so it is asking you to shake up, some part of your identity, some part of how you show up in the world, some part of like who you, who you come as and how you present yourself. So there's probably um, something that is being shifted in terms of um, the skin you wear, the tools you have, how you how you do the work you want to do in the world. Something very, very close and personal is being shaken up. There's something about that calcification that's being broken down. It might not be very comfortable. I have every expectation that you could be being pushed in places that don't feel great. And this full moon is going to potentially push something on this issue. Now, I suspect that that it won't be totally out of the blue. It will be something you have seen with all the Jupiter action, or I'm sorry, all the Uranus action we have had this year. It'll be something that that at least you've had a glimpse of. Um, but it might be that maybe you finally see the elephant in the room that you have been trying not to see, or maybe like with grief, sometimes there's and I don't know that this is grief related at all, but I just know that grief works like this. Sometimes you'll think you have worked through something, you'll think you have solved whatever, um, then somebody says something or you read something and it just brings up another flood or another wave of whatever's been going on. And so something like that could happen with this full moon. Um, being that, wait, I think I might be wrong. Hold on. No, I had a moment of panic, but this is correct. The information I'm giving you is correct, in fact. So, so something might be showing up for you in a profound way around this full moon, just with that Uranus aspect. And there's another piece of it that I think is equally as impactful, if not more so, and and potentially, well, definitely longer lasting because it's coming from a longer lasting transit. So we're going to have a T square with this full moon, and a T square is a tense aspect in the sky. So it's two planets opposite each other. In this case, Venus in Virgo and Saturn in Pisces. And both of those are square another planet, or in this case, two planets, Jupiter and Mars. And so T squares are tense aspects. They they bring about a need for some resolution, some kind of like action has to be taken. It's a tension that needs to be worked through and resolved. And I'm not going to tease all of that out, but the piece I want to talk about is the Jupiter Saturn piece of that. So Jupiter is square Saturn. And the reason I want to talk about that is that Jupiter and Saturn come together every 20 years. So every 20 years, we have some kind of structural cycle that starts again. So Jupiter and Saturn are planets or structures. They build our structures differently. Um, I think of it as a balloon. So the Saturn piece of the Jupiter Saturn conjunction is the mylar or the latex. You know, your the boundary that holds the balloon in. Like there's no balloon if you don't have that physical structure. So that's the Saturnian piece of it. And the Jupiterian piece of it is the air you blow into it. So the Jupiterian piece expands that Saturnian latex balloon structure to become whatever shape or size it's going to be. So, so that is that's sort of what we're dealing with. And every 20 years we have a reset on that. Now, for the last 200 years, that Saturnian reset has been in earth signs. So Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo. And so it has been building those kinds of earthy things. So the the Industrial Revolution feels like it was part of that Jupiter Saturn structure, that like building the foundation of that, how we think about wealth, how we think about what house we live in or what car we drive, or any of those kind of real earthy material things. Um, Structural pieces have really been up for revision and up for renewal in these 20-year cycles as Jupiter and Saturn have met in Earth signs over the last 200 years. When Jupiter and Saturn last met, which was December of 2020, they began a new 200-year cycle where Jupiter and Saturn are meeting in air signs. So they met at 0 degrees of Aquarius in December of 2020. And at that point, um, we really perhaps entered into this information age, or like the structure is really going to be around a more mental focus. Aquarius is the sign of the architect of the ideal, the intellectual building of what things are and how they should be. And so that energy came together about 3.5 years ago. And with this full moon, they are going to form the first square. Um, and that means that this is a point of tension between Jupiter and Saturn, where they are looking at what they've been building. When they came together, you started building something new. Depending on what's at 0 degrees of Aquarius in your chart, it may or may not have like been really evident to you. I think it was probably evident in some ways, but it depends on what it's touching, how significant. Um, a new cycle that was for you in particular, but certainly in your life. Like there are ripple effects to this. Um, so they came together in December of 2020, and now 3.5 years later, we have this opening square where we have a chance to adjust and adaptively manage what we are building. And so that's what we're dealing with as part of this full moon. So we're seeing some illumination in that public, private, self part of your life. But then we also have Saturn, which is sitting in the place of your friends and community groups, and how you show up and are creative um, within a group of people. Um, and then Jupiter is in your house of resources. Could be money, could be values, could be how you spend your time, any of those kinds of resource kind of issues. So there's something that you're being invited to rethink related to like what your group commitments are, how you show up in those groups, and then what your time treasures and talents look like related to how that is showing up. And and Jupiter and Uranus met at 0 degrees of Taurus in your house of career. So that could be, if you're in the working part of your life, or you have a day job, something is being asked to transform in how you show up in your day job. If you're retired, it could be your volunteer opportunities, or how you show up um, publicly. So whatever public face you put on. So there's some transformation there, and right now it's specifically working on groups and friends, and how you connect to your resources related to those groups and friends. So that's a big this is a um, big long-term adjustment. Jupiter and Saturn are going to square each other 3 times over the next year. So you'll have, this is just the first volley. This is the first um, look at how we're going to work with this. Um, so that's why I think this is really important. And that's why I think it's interesting to kind of dive a little bit deeper into this. So I invite you to think back to what you were doing in December of 2020, what was coming into your life, probably around your public persona, and and then how you have adjusted in that period since then, and yeah, what you're bringing in, and maybe what the rub is right now, what it is that you're not seeing, or what it is that Uranian surprise might bring, or yeah, what adjustment points need to be made. So that's what we're going to pull cards on today. We're going to pull 5 cards. We're going to use the Mind's Eye Tarot by Olivia Rose, and and I'm going to pause right now to pull those cards. And when I come back, we'll see what the universe has to say to you about how to work with this full moon energy, and in particular, this Jupiter Saturn square, what needs to be adjusted. All right, I'll be back in a sec. All right, I am back with cards pulled. All right, so 5 cards on this energy of this full moon and how to work with it. So the first card is, what have you brought in since the Great Conjunction, which is that Jupiter Saturn conjunction in December of 2020? What has come in since then? And you got the 10 of Cups. So the 10 of Cups is a family card, is a happily ever after card, is something about relationships coming together. The catch is tens are endings. It's the end of the journey. So there's an ending and a beginning that may be coming through for Taurus risings. So so some culminating energy that is leading you on to the next chapter. So you brought in like some kind of completion around relationships, or emotional situations, or family situations, or something to that effect. Some kind of culminating energy has come in this time period. All right, I hope that makes sense. Um, you know, this is a beautiful card. It is a beautiful card, because it is like stuff turned out the way it was supposed to. Did it feel good? I don't know, but it turned out the way it was supposed to. It probably did feel good. Something, whatever has come in, probably did feel good in its own way. but it was an ending, and then there's a new beginning coming after, after the completion and the culmination. And being that that transit was in your career, I wonder if it had something to do with work. Being that the Jupiter Saturn square right now has something to do with friends and groups, maybe there was some of that energy in there coming in. But yeah, something to do with a happy ending, something coming into culmination, and that you being ready to move on to the next thing. All right, what do you need to see during this full moon in order to move on, in order to really embrace this Jupiter Saturn 20-year cycle? And you got the Page of Wands. So the Page of Wands is about new, surprising information, like aha moments. So there's some information that you need to see. And this feels like it speaks to that Uranus square, that Uranus in your first house. Is there something that you need to look at, or is somebody telling you something? Sometimes pages can be a person, might be a person with information. Is just, do you need to listen to somebody? Do you need to hear something somebody's saying? Do you need to, just, there might be some kind of shocking news that comes and that you need to really see and really understand, that will help move you forward, that will help you with this, whatever this completion is, to start the next chapter of the cycle. There's some information coming your way. So look for information. And the Jupiter Saturn square will work over the next 9 months. So it might not be this week. But see, look for new pieces of the story, or maybe new pieces of the way you tell yourself the story. Does that make sense? I hope it does. All right. What do you need to release in order to embrace this next chapter, in order to really move into the next chapter? Full moons are always about releases, and squares, you need to release something so that you can move forward. And you need to release some kind of material, trappings. So the King of Pentacles is, I sometimes call it the Midas touch. It's a money card. It's somebody who is like a master of industry, or a master of business, or a master manifester, somebody who can really bring things into being. And there's something about that you need to release. Being that this Aquarian energy is in your 10th house, is there something related to your work that you need to release? I'm not saying quit your job or any of that, but is there something like maybe there was some structure, or some, like, it has to be this way, and maybe this energy is saying it doesn't have to be this way. There's something about that needs to be released. Jupiter and Mars came together in your second house, which is about money. So is there maybe there's a belief about money, maybe there's some information about money, or how you spend your time, treasures, and talents, or how the work you do in the world, that some information coming in, and an invitation to release some attachment to that, which could be hard. As a Taurus rising, you are like security is very important to you, and material possessions probably are part of that security. And so yeah, there's something about money or resources that need to be released, or the values around that money and resources, or the values around those material possessions, that you are being invited to release. And there's probably some information coming in to tell you, ooh, this isn't what I've been thinking it was. All right, what is the opportunity if you release? And you got the Sun. Now, the Sun is probably the best card in the tarot. It is about abundance. It is about success in every way. It is about love. It is light. It is warmth. It is, the sun is what enables any of us to grow at all. And so I really think whatever this information is, whatever you're being asked to release, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but there's real beauty and abundance available to you to move into whatever this next piece of the chapter is. Whatever this next iteration of yourself is. If you can just hold whatever it is lightly, just let it let it fly a little bit, let it go a little bit. There's some real gorgeous abundance awaiting you. And finally, what is your guidance from the universe? Your guidance from the universe is the King of Wands. And kings are an energy of, did you have other? You did have another king, you had the King of Pentacles. So kings are about leadership. And the King of Wands is about being a passionate, creative, charismatic leader. And so your invitation from the universe is to find that passion and creativity and lead from that place. Lead your life from that place. This could also be a person coming into your life to show you how to live in passion and creativity. So it could be somebody. So look around. Sometimes pages are people. This could be a person coming in. Yeah, so something about like really stepping into living in what you're passionate about, what you're creative about, what you really want to do, maybe what is more heart-centered than head-centered, maybe something that doesn't on paper appear as practical or, as maybe it's a risk of some sort, but the abundance is there. The outcome is some real joy and um, some real warmth and light. So sit with that, Taurus rising. I'm curious how that's showing up for you and what this looks like in your life. So if you would, if you're interested, drop me a comment. Let me know if this resonates, if this makes some sense for what you're going through. And of course, I like likes, subscribes, comments, all of those kinds of things help this channel grow, help me get my message out, and I very much appreciate it. All right, I hope to talk to you soon. Bye.